Welcome to the latest edition of Millennial Boom with Diane Faith and Stanley Roberts, where almost no subject is off limits. Now, here are your hosts, Boomer Diane Faith and Millennial at Heart, Stanley Roberts.
Hello, let me get rid of this and we can definitely get the going here. We do that so we don't have you popping up in your faces by accident. Hey.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Can you hear us? First of all, it's important. Is there audio?
Oh, they can hear us. I can see they can hear us.
Okay.
So, no, we never false start. Instagram is offering the ability to stream on Instagram, and I did everything I'm supposed to do on Instagram, but I don't see it. So, I don't know what to do other than tell you that we're supposed to be on Instagram, but it says we're there, but I don't see it anywhere. So if you're on Instagram, you can see us. Thumbs up. Let us know.
Producer Jace is in the house. So is Chris. We've got Gabriel. James Bode says false start. You read that already.
Yeah, false start. No false start. Just trying to get Instagram to work out. And hello, everyone. And we're in the midst of another storm.
We are. It's raining, pouring. It's windy outside.
I would say it's raining cats and dogs, but that might not be fair to cats and dogs.
Oh, yeah. If you guys can see, well, behind us, we have the live feed of Pacifica behind us. But then also, if you look above at the window, you could see that the rain is like pounding on the window right now. Maybe it is dark.
Yeah, you can definitely hear the sound, but you don't see it. It's been raining for 3 days, and you are in Florida. And we also want to welcome all of our guests from the People's Republic of China. If you're here, hello, we welcome you as well. And yes, here we are again, another streaming of
Who got caught misbehaving again?
Millennial Boom.
Is that you? You got caught misbehaving again?
No. I was about earlier today, another streamer read my Twitch username as gas hairspray. Nice.
Oh, what, Gabriel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So anyway.
That's not what I see when I see yours, Gabriel.
Yeah, I see gas hairspray too. So that's okay, because every time they read me, it says Mr. Baldy. So
James says you should consider a wide angle camera in the interim until you're ready.
Yeah.
Nah.
But I appreciate it.
Thanks for the suggestion.
And also, if you read my post on Twitter or Facebook the other day, I got hooked up with the Girl Scout cookies, and now we have a bunch.
Oh, you moved them.
I moved them.
They were sitting here on this table earlier.
Yeah, they were. I fell off the wagon and got more Girl Scout cookies.
You were never on a wagon.
No, for 10 months I went without Girl Scout cookies.
Well, that's because for 10 months they weren't on sale.
Well, they're not on sale. We're still paying the same price.
Well, I mean, not on sale, but they weren't, like, you couldn't buy them.
Couldn't buy them.
There's a Girl Scout cookie season.
Yeah, remember I used to negotiate with the Girl Scouts?
And because there was no season, you did not eat them.
Oh, so now I'm having Girl Scout cookies with eggs. Yeah, Girl Scout cookies, eggs, bacon, and Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, I wasn't here for that.
No, I'm just kidding. If you heard my food is cooking, we're making dinner. That's a beeping sound.
Yeah, our food is the air fryer was beeping.
And we were watching what were we watching earlier? You were watching
NBA All-Star game.
Yeah, and they did a pass between the guy's legs. That was pretty funny.
Trae Young did a pass between Kevin Durant's legs. That was hilarious.
Yeah, and also just so you know, on February 30th, I'm going to quit drinking.
And he's also going to give up Girl Scout cookies on February 30th.
I'm going to give up Girl Scout cookies again, like I did. Well, last year I gave up Girl Scout on 29th. This time I give him an extra day.
You give him an extra day.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it's leap year. So guess whose birthday is on February 29th?
Who?
Chris,
your birthday is February 29th?
So he's only like 10 years old.
So you're like hella young. Well, duh, that's like saying I will only drink on February 29th.
Yeah. So it's kind of, what's it like to have a birthday on leap year, Chris? Because you don't get an actual date. It's like you kind of get left out.
Yeah. Do you celebrate it on the 28th, on the March 1st, or you don't celebrate it?
Or do you just do you count it in dog years? And right now you're like 15. I just want to know, just in case.
Just in case what? In case you're born on February 29th?
Yeah, for some reason, I'm only hearing on my left side. I need to adjust this for some reason. I'm only hearing. Is there a way to adjust it on both sides there or something? Because I'm only getting one ear. Oh, there we just lost it. Never mind. It's probably.
It's not
there
plugged
we
in
go.
all the way.
All right. Now I hear both
You
of
weren't plugged in all the way.
All right. That's what they all said. That's what she said. You're not plugged in all the way. Whoa. I'm hearing possibly tornadoes in the valley tomorrow. Yeah, you know what? It's funny that you mentioned that. That is really ironic that you mentioned tornadoes because I was just reading online how California, we don't think of California as being a place for tornadoes, but most counties, except for I think Shasta, has had a tornado. Even San Mateo County, which is where we live in, has had 4 in the last 100 years.
Really?
4 tornadoes.
Were we alive for any of them?
No. Last one, I don't know when they were, but they were.
All right.
They've had 4. Okay?
So Chris says his birthday is in April. Where did you get February 29th from?
Oh, because a few weeks ago when we talked about leap year, he said, and I quote,
and you be careful because you're quoting.
Yeah, he said, "Oh yeah, I guess that means I don't have a birthday." So I assumed because of him saying that, his birthday, he finally gets a birthday. So I was assuming that was his actual birthday.
Chris, we need some clarification.
So disregard it then. If it's not his birthday, it's not his birthday. I mean, I just assumed, and that's what I get for assuming.
You make a ASS out of...
No, I didn't make an ASS out of anybody. I just assumed. Man.
Okay, and so let's just get this out of the way right now, just so that we're clear, guys. This is not my dad. I am not. I am not his daughter.
We said that last time in the beginning, and someone came.
And someone came in the end, so we need to say it every 5 minutes.
No, you did. Hey, how you like my beard? See, so I'm going for this whole new look now. I'm going to let it grow.
What new look? You always have a beard.
I'm going to let it grow until Christmas, and then I'm going to become the Black Santa. I'm going to have it like LeBron James puffy.
Okay, then people are going to think you're my grandpa.
Okay, well then you just go. Hey, you grow a beard too.
I'm not capable of doing.
You can be
that.
Mrs. Claus.
I'm not capable of growing a beard.
Well, clearly that's not the case. You can grow a beard. You're just not capable of growing a full beard. I've seen people grow beards. You just get the right pills and you're good to go. Beard City.
Not me. I was speaking as a friend who has that. Oh, okay. Chris was speaking of a friend.
Huh?
So
he's speaking of a friend. Okay, well, so I'm not 100% crazy. I didn't make it up.
Chris, so does she celebrate? When does she celebrate? 28th, March 1st, or does she just celebrate only when the 29th comes around? Because I'm always interested in because I don't know anybody that has oh, that was weird in the audio.
No, it's moving around because I realized that I'm looking, the camera's there, but because I was sitting, it looked like I was looking here, but I want to look there so that way they know I'm talking to them. As when I'm talking to them, it's supposed to talk to you. There we go. So there we go.
Anyways, I don't know anybody born on February 29th, so always curious to know.
I always skip leap year because I just leap right over it. That makes sense? So what do you guys think of it? Last time we were here, it was Super Bowl. We didn't see you guys. So what do you guys think about the Super Bowl?
Oh, gosh, that's so painful.
No, it wasn't painful to me because I didn't have
I wasn't speaking for you.
I didn't have.
It was just for me. It was painful.
Thank you, Big Bucks Bradley, for the 99 cents. We appreciate it. Super chat. Yeah, remember that you can do super chat. You can do all the different platforms. You can donate bits. Oh my, bits and bits and bits. Oh my, we're here. We're square. Stanley Claus. Yeah, that's it. I'll be Stanley Claus next year. For Christmas time, I'm gonna let it grow out to poof. I'm gonna hide I'm gonna be able to hide keys in there. It's gonna be all puffy.
That's not gonna be I don't know.
The Taylor Swift bowl.
I don't think that's gonna be cute.
I think it will be. I mean, somebody the other day said to me, "Oh, they have a meme they have a emoji for you on Instagram now, on Facebook now, or whatever, on social media."
No, on Apple. It was on the iPhone.
And I said, "Oh yeah, do they really?" So he pulls up the meme, and it was Santa Claus. I'm like, you know what? After I finished beating him up, then he apologized.
The super bowel, isn't that a medical condition?
Yeah, super bowel. That is. That's when I'm not going to go into that one.
Yeah, so I personally was very disappointed and sad by the results of the Super Bowl because I'm a 49ers fan. He, on the other hand, is a Steelers fan, so he was indifferent.
Yeah, I could care less who won, honestly. I'm trying to, I just realized I didn't have my chat up, so I couldn't see it. You're going to be like Santa from the video from Christmas in Hollis having a Cadillac sled. No, I'm gonna have a. You know what I really like? The new GX 550 Lexus. That's gonna be my sled. Put a little thing in the front for Rudolph, red-nosed reindeer. Yeah.
You said that kind of weird.
I don't do NFL, NBA, NASCAR, MLB, or any of that sponsored garbage. Well, I actually don't do a lot either. What sports do I actually watch?
The sports that I watch.
Only because
I am hogging the TV.
Thank you. Yesterday, how much TV time did I get?
We have more than one TV.
How much TV time did I get?
That was by your choice. We watched the NBA 3-point challenge, the dunk contest, Sabrina and Steph 3-point challenge.
No, you watched it and I was in the room.
Yes.
Okay. So just to be clear,
but you did enjoy it though. It sounded like you enjoyed it. You were commenting.
I had no choice. I was in a room and
you didn't have to say anything.
Stare at the wall.
You didn't have to say anything.
So here's how it went down. So first she watched in Living Color, Living Single. Which one was it?
Yesterday?
Yeah.
I just watched the NBA and then
before that.
Practical Jokers.
No, before that you watched Living the Single.
No, that's number one, that's not how it goes, but I didn't watch Living Single
Where'd
yesterday.
you watch today in the morning? Because you watched that and
yesterday.
then you switched. And then you went to the game and then you switched to Impractical Jokers. Because I said, oh, when do I get a chance to watch TV? And you said, oh, you want to watch TV? And I said, no, forget it.
Why do you always imitate me like that?
And then I said,
did I really sound like,
yeah. And then I said, I'll just go in the bedroom and watch TV, right? She goes, no, it's fine. I want to watch TV with you. So you stay here and I'll go in the bedroom. I'm like, that's the same.
I said, oh, no worries. I'll go to the bedroom. And then I actually said, hey, here's the remote. You can just change it. And then you said, oh, after I eat. You guys, this is a conversation, I swear. But I don't remember what I was watching before NBA. It wasn't Living Single because that wasn't on yesterday.
Then it was what's your call then?
I think it was Friends.
She binge watches Friends.
And then
she's seen every episode of Friends 100 times.
And then for the longest, it was a Space Jam that was on, and we both weren't paying attention.
Every episode of
because you were on the phone.
Every episode of Friends like 100 times.
Thanks, Dave Man.
She literally, thank you, Dave Man, for the $1 super chat. I think, yes, super chat. No, super chat. Yes, YouTube. So she literally will mouth. She's watched so much of Friends and Living Single that she literally can mouth the whole segment as it comes on, the whole half an hour. So she's like this.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just telling you that you watch so much of it that you actually are about mouthing it as you watch it. And I'm like, what is going on? Now, she goes, did you see this part? And I said, yes, I've seen that part. Because you made me see that part. The part where she has the baby and then, or then when Joey has to pee on himself to get the act with the actor.
That episode happened yesterday, so of course you remember that.
Anyway, so we've been just doing our thing. The weather being as it is, it's been pretty rainy, pretty cold. And if you're unfamiliar with the Bay Area, we're in the rainy season, which is then followed by winter. No, let me take that back. The rainy season followed by the doom and the June gloom, which is June. We have all the fog, followed by winter, which is July, August, September, and then we have summer, October, November. And then we go back to the rainy season from December, January, February, March, April. Rain, rain, rain. And sometimes you'll be sitting there, no rain. It'll be clear as can be. This morning I posted sunny day, and then a half an hour later it was just pouring down.
Yeah, it just changed all of a sudden. I'm honestly looking at the weather app like every hour just to see, because I have to sometimes plan what I want to do around the weather. I wear 3 seasons of clothes every day when I go out in this area. So start off in the morning. If you leave in the morning, it's winter clothes. About midday, you have on your spring clothes. And then about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you have on your summer clothes. And then you go back to winter clothes again. So it's like you constantly have to keep changing clothes. So I have a car full of coats that you pull the coat out, you put the coat away, you pull the coat out, you put the coat away. You have a hoodie. So that's in case you get you never know.
And I love it because people fly in to California summertime thinking, oh my God, Northern California, Bay Area to be specific, and think, oh my God, I can't wait to get there. They got flip-flops, shorts, and t-shirts. And you get off the plane and they go into like, oh, I can't believe it's so cold. And then they go buy those shirts. You know how you know they brought a shirt here? It says San Francisco on it.
Yep. No, Gabriel, he doesn't have coats labeled by season and time of day.
Might as well, though. I mean, literally, you have to have a coat, a jacket, and a hat in your car. And
An umbrella.
An umbrella, because you never know. We have microclimates. So you can be, one area can be 60 degrees, another area can be 70 degrees. If you go across the bay, it's always warmer. So it all depends on where you are in the Bay Area, depending on what kind of clothes you wear. So you keep clothes in your car to adjust for the temperatures.
I usually just keep a coat with a hood in my car, an umbrella, and a couple of hats, like snapbacks.
You know, he wrote something that's not changing the subject, but so Dr. Seiss wrote, California is expensive and high taxes. They love to issue tickets to out-of-state folks. And I'm just going to say this because I've ridden with law enforcement for how many years now?
A lot. You actually just put out a piece a few days ago.
I put out a piece. If you go onto YouTube, there's a brand new piece about illegal U-turns, which is amazing. And before I go back to that part, keep me on that part about the amazing part, and I'll explain in a minute, is that they don't actually target out-of-state people. You know what's weird about that? Every state I go to, they say that the police target people from out of state. They actually don't unless you have a plate and you, like, let's say you have a out-of-state plate, but you also have a fast track.
Mm-hmm.
What does that tell you?
That you live here because you have a fast track transponder,
right? But
your plates haven't changed,
right? So what happens is that they're called foreign registration. So some people, to avoid, now they do have high registration fees here. I'm not going to lie.
Yes,
they're like through the roof, high, exorbitant. Yes. But what happens is people come out here who work out here or live out here, but they have a car from another state, but they don't want to pay the registration fees, so they keep their car registered in the state where they live at, which could be $30 a year.
I've seen a few plates in this complex that are out of state.
Yeah, and so what they do is, if you can't prove that you work in another state, or 50% of your time is in both states, then that's called out-of-state registry, out-of-state foreign registration. And the reason why that is because registration is how the CHP makes to pay salaries and buy equipment. So if you register your car in California, then they can use that money. They don't now, just for the record, people go, oh, they write tickets and they get money for that. They don't get tickets from anything else except registration. They don't get any revenue from it. So they're definitely going to look at cars with out-of-state plates if you're here cheating the system.
I also feel like sometimes people that are out of state don't know the laws, or maybe they do, but don't know the laws here. And so they do things that they think in their state that they can do, but is not the law here. Yeah. Like, for example, like where you make U-turns, or like in Arizona, when we were there, you could make a U-turn at a red light. Anywhere. Yeah. As long as you don't go you can make a U-turn as long as you don't go to the intersection, which is weird. Right. But like here, you can't do that. And so oftentimes, like let's say if I was in Arizona but I was like, visiting or whatever, and I was driving a car with Arizona plates, and I did what I thought was something that was legal here and it wasn't, that can attract more attention too. So it may not be necessarily that they're targeting out of state, but they notice that out of state is not following the law because it's not the same here. Now, here's some ideas of what would be different. So in California, they have a no tent rule, and people from out of state come in with blacked out windows, and of course they're going to pull you over to check that out. And different, you're right, different rules, different jurisdictions. Things change from place to place, like dark tint. Like in Santa Cruz, they're going hard on, CHP is going hard on tinted windows. And they'll tell you that if you have a tinted window, now what we did, we had a conversation with a CHP officer out there because my windows are tinted. However, that being said, my tinted windows were tinted at the manufacturer. We didn't get aftermarket tint. And he goes, no, that's not true. Everybody has aftermarket tint. And I said, no, it's actually not true. And I'll show you.
So I show them a picture of my windshield where it says DOT, which stands for Department of Transportation tint. So in other words, this window was baked in, the tint was baked into the windshield. So under those circumstances, that's different. He goes, well, I didn't know that it even existed. So yes, if, now some people would say their windows are tinted by the manufacturer, but if you go inside and you run your finger along the edge of it, you can feel the edge where the tint was put in, and then they'll just peel it off. But ours, in our case, was baked in.
Yeah. I bought mine like that at the dealership.
So the sergeant for one of the CHP officers said that he's going to have a conversation with his officers because he wasn't aware that was even a thing. So even the cops don't know everything. So sometimes you have to educate them. But the problem is that so many people lie to law enforcement that they assume that everybody's lying.
Yeah.
So the only way to prove it is to either, have proof that, hey, I have, and here's the thing I didn't know. So some people can get tint if they have a medical condition. And you think that tint is supposed to be 24 hours, 7 days a week for years and years, but it only applies for a certain period of time.
Like what? What would be
the tint is like, it's a medical tint, and it only allowed to be on there for like 30 days. And it has to be removable tint. So you can take it down when you're not, when it's nighttime, because clearly you don't need tint at night. So I didn't know that either. That's so they know.
What I find interesting about my car, which has tint, is that at night, like sometimes if I want to like make a turn or whatever, like I will have to like open the window just a little bit just to make sure that I'm like that I can see everything. But that's the interesting part, is that my tint isn't even as like that dark, but it's just that at nighttime it looks dark.
And there's no baked-in option for cars sold in California. It's usually the higher-end luxury cars. And for our case, because tint is legal in Arizona, as long as you do it within a certain level, you can't have it like blacked out.
And that's where we got our cars in Arizona, so that's why they were tint. Because I got a car out here, but it wasn't new. But most cars out here, you'll notice, when I say here, California, are when you go to the dealership, the windows are not tinted. And actually,
Felix, in California, the front windows, the driver's side front window, the passenger side front window, and the windshield have zero tint. You can't have any tint on those according to California law. 30%. You can paint the windows black in the back. You can paint them black as long as you have two mirrors. But there's no number that's given out. As a matter of fact, if a cop stops you for any tint, they can have you take it out and write you a fix-it ticket. Now, here's something. Let's change the subject. Let's stay on the same subject, but let's talk about some of the new laws that came in for 2024.
I wanted to just address something real quick. Betty Veronica says, why is it that when a new car is $$ sign, so $3 sign, so expensive registration, but the old cars that are more pollutant, registration is less, and less the older the car gets?
Yeah, so all that means is that in California, the lower you pay for your registration, the older the car is, the less your registration fee was going to be. Here's something we learned.
But that's why those older cars also, I think the registration is lower because it's old, but they have to go through more smog checks.
They get a smog check every 2 years, and that's expensive.
Because I had a 2003 Toyota Matrix where I had to keep getting a smog check every I think it was like every 2 years, but my registration kept going down. But oddly enough, my car insurance kept going up. So it's like, even though my car registration was low, for some reason my car insurance kept going up, and I didn't understand why until I realized it was dependent on where I lived also, because I was living in places where it was more prone to crashes. So anyways.
So there's one law right now that when you get pulled over, the officer has to tell you why they pulled you over. Before it used to be, do you know why I pulled you over? Well, now it's changed to, here's why I pulled you over. That's one new law. Another new law that's on the books is that unless, like you see a lot of cars with no registration, the registration expired.
Oh, I noticed that.
They have to check it before they pull you over now.
How is that? Like check it in the system?
They can't just pull you over because it looks like it's expired.
They check it
so they can check it on the system, and they can call it in. And if they call it in and they check your registration through the call and it comes up expired, because I guess people are getting pulled over who aren't putting their tabs on.
Yeah, like they may have them in the car or something.
And so they have to actually call it in now. So you might see a cop behind you for a little bit if you have it, and he's running your plate to see if which kind of you think about it, Remember before when people used to get upset because the cop ran them?
Yeah.
So now the cops can run you if your registration's expired in the back of your car to see if and if they run you and you come back with warrants or warrants, then that's a whole different ballgame.
So for clarification, instead of them noticing that your tabs are expired, and saying, okay, I'm going to pull them over because their tag says or whatever, it says like 2022 instead of 2024. They pull you over and then they tell you why. So instead of doing that, now they can just run you so they can prevent from pulling you over in case you do.
Only for registration.
Oh, okay.
It's only for registration. If they catch you doing if you violate something, they can pull you over for that violation.
So that's interesting because now if they want to run you just to check that and other stuff comes up, then it opens up a whole new can of worms. Right?
It can. So let's say you want to. A lot of people, most people who are, I'll put it out there this way. Most people who have something to hide visibly make themselves available to be found.
They're already riding dirty.
Right. They're riding dirty in the first place.
Cracked windshield.
Cracked windshield is not one way you can pull it over.
Expired registration.
Expired registration. Underinflated tires.
Oh, you can get pulled over for underinflated tires?
You can, because it's a safety hazard.
Oh, but it has to be like visible.
It's visible. I mean, you can tell if the tire's underinflated.
Yeah.
You can see or if it's too much weight in the car. Now, here's something that you may not think. You think, oh, I don't have the air in the tire, but then when you pull them over, you find out that their trunk is full of dead bodies, and the extra weight is from the bodies. So you never know. I mean, more crimes have been solved from a simple traffic stop than anything else out there. Something as simple as, cracked windshield. Well, that's a safety violation because your windshield, if it's cracked, and you know how it may obstruct your vision. Yeah. You know what else bugs me? People who drive around with their disabled placard hanging in the window. Because
you're not supposed to.
It literally blocks your vision.
Yeah.
For a few seconds, that one spot, all you need, and somebody's walking and you don't see them because they're right in that little section, boom.
People drive with their disabled placards in the windshield all the time.
Yeah. Is there a visual difference between 26 PSI and 30 PSI? I don't know. I'm not an expert when it comes, but if you look at it, I've seen car tires where they're bubbling on the sides.
I didn't know that was a thing, mainly because I don't really look at people's tires.
I tell you, I almost hit a pedestrian once. It had nothing to do with anything I did wrong. And you've had the same problem. I had a rental car, and the A-frame, which is right here, this side here, was so wide that when I pulled up to a red light, a stop sign, I looked, I didn't see anybody, and I was about to go, and just inside the A-frame was a kid jumped out.
Yeah.
Now, that's the same thing with disabled placards. That one little section, that one little moment where you're not paying attention, and all of a sudden, you can't see through that thing, and boom, you hit somebody.
Have you ever noticed that when you're in the car with me, you may have not, but have you ever noticed that when I'm making a left turn, I literally go like this? Like I like actually move my entire body to look to see if there's anything.
You have to sometimes.
But I like do that often because
that's a blind spot.
Yeah, because I want to make sure that like there's nothing within that.
And you're right, Gabriel. Every disabled placard has a notice on it to remove tag before driving.
Yeah, but people don't read.
Yeah. People don't read.
And
people are lazy. They don't want to take it off because it's too much trouble to put it back on again. Or, I may forget to put it back on again. Well, that's a problem. But you know what's even worse? When you hit somebody and you say, well, I hit him because I couldn't see him.
My disabled placard was blocking my vision.
Yeah. And we've stopped people who didn't see stuff. I didn't see it. Worst answer. Because your job is to be aware of what you're doing. Your job. And so the biggest thing I've had, if you go back to YouTube channel, you see the one I did about U-turns. People are arguing about the semantics of a U-turn. So in California, if you make a turn into a diagonal parking space in a business district, that is the same as making a U-turn. It is the same way, and people argue that, but it's been that way forever. And one lady was like, "Is that a new law?" No, it's not a new law.
No, she was like, "Is that a new law, like the
49ers,
like the football overtime?" Yeah.
So that's where you stand with that one.
Maggie says, for God's sakes, it's too much trouble to drive in California. Well, here's the thing that I think, Maggie. I think that it's actually not too much trouble to drive in California. The thing is, each state has its own laws, and it is our responsibility as drivers to know those laws. Like when we got our driver's license, right? We had to know those laws to take the test, written test, driver test. In Arizona, when we lived there, we didn't have to renew our licenses every often, and we did actually see a lot more like bad drivers out there. Well, okay, I'll only speak for me. I saw a lot more bad drivers out there than I do here, but don't get me wrong.
You met a bad driver by accident.
There are a lot of bad drivers too. Yeah, I got in a crash in Arizona too. But so the thing is that I've noticed that the renewing of the license in Arizona, in my opinion, permitted more people to be careless because they weren't having to test themselves over and over with the laws. And laws do get updated, but it's our responsibilities as drivers to know and follow the law. And the problem is people don't. So when you have a lot of people that don't do that, it does become a problem to drive, but it shouldn't be.
T. Perkins.
It should not.
Thank you. We love you too. T. Perkins on X.
T. Perkins, did you just do a heart?
I did that. Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I can do that.
You can do that. Oh, T. Perkins is from X.
Yes. X is going to give it to you. Going to give it to you. X is going to give it to you. That little girl in that video.
I know. That was cute. I know. That was cute. Don't remind us about the Super Bowl. Oh, sorry, Betty. I know. I know.
So back to the traffic laws. So
and you're going to talk about something that was amazing.
Was I?
Yeah, you were going to remind us.
I don't know what that says. Can you translate that one for me? Because last time I almost kicked him out. It's in it looks like it's in
I do. I miss DMX too.
X going to give it to you. So we're going to figure out what this person wrote before we figure out. It looks like Hebrew.
Hebrew is not currently supported by translation.
All right. I don't know what it says. Anybody can translate Hebrew, let us know. But this is we can't translate. So I hope it's not something bad. I made it. Hi, your mom.
That's funny.
I love it. So we're going to figure out what they wrote so we can either respond to them. Uh-huh. It's a bunch of Bible quotes. Thank you, Maverick. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate it. So, yeah. And so here's another thing. And so gas varies in California from where you are. It could be anywhere from $8 a gallon, which is usually some deserted area where you can't get to $3 to $4 a gallon, depending on where you are. It's never always the same price. Our biggest problem is electricity bills.
Yeah.
We keep getting a letter from the PG&E that says that we are using 100% more power than everybody else in our neighborhood.
And we simply know that that's not true.
But I've met people who've sent me messages where they've gotten 100%, 57% of more power, and their whole house is electricity, is solar panels. So.
Oh, I'm so late. I'm now just seeing this $300 a month for gas sometimes. That is a lot of money. Maggie, does Maggie live in California? Do you live in California, Maggie? Because that's a lot.
So PG&E, if you're listening to us, you're probably not. How about just stop wasting money on those little letters? You might save a whole bunch of money if you didn't send out a whole bunch of letters that tell us how much energy we're using from another neighbor. Because I'm going to go next door and be like, hey, can I plug into your house? Because apparently I'm using less power than you are.
Also, can they stop sending us notices that we're going to have that they're going to turn off our power and then send us another notice saying it was canceled?
Now, just for the record, they're not turning off because of lack of payment.
No.
They keep saying they want to replace a telephone pole nearby.
Yeah.
They're going to shut the power off for a whole day. And then the day we sit around waiting for them to shut the power off, they don't shut it off.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, sorry, we didn't shut it off. But they send these letters. And we had like 4 of them already.
Yeah. And they send one where they say we have a scheduled power outage.
Maggie lives in Diamond Bar.
And then, okay. Oh, Diamond Bar. Okay. So you're in California.
Oh, by the way, just for the record, Maggie is one of our, she supports us on Twitter. And she also subscribed to Ziffy.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So she's been a big help. Thank you. So it doesn't go unnoticed, Maggie. Thank you very much. We do recognize that you've been supporting us, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, they do waste paper. That's the least of their problems. Yeah, I agree. But I mean, we got to start somewhere. Just like now, if you go order like a bag of Ritz crackers, it may be 3 crackers short because they know that if by 3 crackers short, they can save money across the board.
Is it the same thing with like potato chips when they only fill it up like halfway bag, and then like the other part's just like straight up air?
Yeah. So if you're looking behind us, that is
is it frozen?
No.
Oh no, it's not.
That's the actual storm on the pier in Pacifica that you're looking at. It's a live feed.
Yeah, so your mom, it's funny. We get our bill only through email. Like we've signed up for electronic paper, electronic notices for our bill.
But this one is a different letter.
But this is a different letter because they're notifying like people in the neighborhood of a scheduled power outage, so they don't contact us. Like that's our personal preference, but because it's for people in the neighborhood, they send out the paper. Which I don't like.
Yeah, thank you, Dave, man. Shrinkflation is what they call it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is the term.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start shrinkflating stuff. I'm gonna shrinkflate my rent. Yeah.
Well, I wish we could shrinkflate our rent.
We'll close off one of the rooms and say we're not using that room anymore, so we're gonna lower the rent.
If only we could do that. If only that was a thing.
We're gonna use one of our bathrooms. Then that way we can lower the rent.
Yeah, I wish. Oh wait, there's someone in here called PG&E. Did they change their name?
Yeah, somebody did.
Oh, that's not funny. It is funny.
It is funny.
You're like PG&E if you're listening.
Yeah, no, we're not listening, and we're not going to do it. We're going to send you a bill. Matter of fact, you'll get a bill from PG&E because you've used more paper than the average person. I'm like, because you sent it to us. That's not our problem. X is going to give it to you. Anyway, sorry. It's stuck in my head now.
Oh gosh. So there was another comment in here that I noted, but then I think I might have lost it. It was a little
What's
while
that orange
ago.
thing right there? I don't see that. What is that?
Oh, that was Betty Veronica saying that to me in YouTube.
Gotcha.
Don't remind us of the Super
I'm so glad
Bowl.
Betty finally was able to join us. Before she was like the redheaded stepchild of
because only
streaming.
her comments were seen in YouTube, but they weren't seen in the general chat. But she created a new account.
Yes.
This
I can
is the
account
one.
for it.
This is the one. Stay away from Pinell. It says country, but I think he means county, Arizona. As Deputy Sloop is there and will ticket you.
Okay.
That's from the Dr. Sysop.
Dr. Sysop.
Is that the guy that does the?
Just for the record, they got the idea from my show, Caught Misbehaving. They didn't do it until after we left, and now they do it, and they do the same thing we do, except for they do it with the deputy and the guy in the car who isn't their actual reporter, but he is in the car. And he's recording everything and making sure that he gets everything he needs. So they got the idea from what we do. We never get credit for stuff that we create.
He never gets credit. This guy is like super brilliant.
I've been creating things all my life and
all his life,
and then people end up getting the credit for the work I do.
So
or the ideas I come up with. So
if you guys like follow him regularly, then you probably have seen his post about his interaction with what is now Yelp.
Yeah. Right.
And then.
So if you don't know, Yelp was actually my idea, but it came from when I had a company called weatethere.com. I still have the emails from the CEO of Yelp, who we were going back and forth. They wanted to meet with me. We met. We met at a Starbucks. I mean, I didn't know at the time that they were going to steal the idea. They wanted to talk to me about how great it was. And I'm sitting there going, oh, yeah, pop my collar. And they go, okay. And they left. And they went and got $25 million in funding and created Yelp.
I cannot.
So, I mean, if somebody goes, and here's the important part. So someone said, I think the story you made up is bull BS. Because why didn't you go to a black investor? And the truth be told is I know black investors, but they at that time, I didn't know any black investors, but they don't, a lot of them, and I'm not saying they don't, but a lot of them don't invest. And this is going to be controversial. A lot of black investors don't invest in black companies. Just a fact.
And if you are a black investor and you want to prove us wrong,
yeah,
you can invest in his company.
And Dan, if you miss People Behaving Badly, then subscribe to my YouTube channel, Mr. Badly TV, because I'm still doing the same thing. I'm not doing every single day like I did at Cron, because the reason why every day I did at Cron, I ended up having a stroke because there was so much pressure of trying to do a story every single day. I do them now when I get the chance to do the ride-alongs. I was just offered a new one coming up pretty soon for some DUI task force. So as we start to do this, and we created a nonprofit, which is Mr.
Badly TV.
Mr. Badly TV, which allows me to do these by people making donations, as opposed to trying to find a TV station to employ me, who the TV station will limit what I can do and what I can say. But with the nonprofit, I want to educate the public, but not be limited as to what I can say. I mean, I'm going to live myself because I'm not going to do something that's going to get me or anybody upset or fired. But the important part is getting things done. I created. So now what I did was by signing up for, here's where it gets kind of interesting. So I signed up for PayPal, which has a nonprofit fund. So the PayPal nonprofit fund is also connected to, you ready for this? It's connected to Venmo, which you should know that because it's all the same company, but they're also connected to GoFundMe. So I got notifications from GoFundMe saying, now that you're a recognized nonprofit, you can set up a fundraiser on GoFundMe, which I do have one of them now. And they give you that option. It's kind of weird because I always look at GoFundMe as emergency funds for something that's going on. But with this case, because we're a nonprofit, we're tax exempt. If you make a donation, I don't get it right away. They have a donation fund where they give it out the 25th of every month. I also received a letter from another group that's associated with Salesforce. They also have a fund for nonprofits. Now, it's not a whole lot of money, but they're trying to contribute as much as they can. But for me to do what I want to do, we need a lot of money. And you say, well, because, you just got something.
Oh,
welcome, Mr. Mom.
Mr. Mom, your mom.
You are Mom. Sorry,
welcome
my glasses.
To Mr. Badley TV fan.
Thank you.
Oh, cool.
Yay. So a new member. Thank you very much. Everybody else can do the same thing. So here's why I've been doing what I'm trying to do. And it's kind of hard to relay this on social media because it's not the easiest thing to say.
And there are a bunch of trolls.
So when I did on TV, people were constantly trying to get me fired. They literally, even when I didn't work there, they tried to get me fired. So by having the nonprofit that and it has a self-destruct button. So you go, self-destruct button, what does that mean? Well, if I die tomorrow, the nonprofit goes away. It doesn't go, the money gets sent back to the government. I don't get to keep it. So that's why it's called a nonprofit. I'm not making a profit off this. I don't get to keep the money. The money is used to buy more equipment, to security sometimes.
Produce
shows. Because when I go out and ride along, like CHP says, you can ride with us, but we can't pay you to ride with us. You can only ride.
Yeah.
So that's money out of my pocket that I have to pay for to do this. I have to pay for insurance, which I have to pay for $2 million insurance a year. And so that's ongoing insurance payment. But we also did some PSAs for a county, which they're waiting for them to release the PSAs, which we hope will generate us more interest. Like last night I'm laying in bed going, oh my God, are they stalling because what I did was such horrible work? But everybody who looked at it says it's great.
You're such a critic of yourself.
But I'm the worst. I am my worst critic.
You shouldn't be, though. You do great stuff.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And I appreciate it because we got people who are watching from all over the world. Switzerland. Stefan's not here, but normally he pops in.
And I always ask him what's for breakfast.
What's for breakfast, right? And Stefan's great. He flew in once to visit me. He brought me a
Swiss
Army knife from Switzerland, from the actual Swiss Army. He beat up a Swiss Army man. He took his knife and gave it to me. That was pretty cool.
Did he really?
No.
Okay. I was like, I don't know whether or not to believe.
I try to do good work, but the truth be told is I am my worst critic. When I watch stuff and it's really hard for me to determine if it's good or not. I expect people to go, what is this garbage? And that's how I think. But I think that keeps me humble. You shouldn't
think that, though.
I think that keeps me humble and hopefully helps me do more, better work. I mean, I'm sure not everybody's going to like the work I do. I'm not, we know for a fact that people will hate stuff just because they want to hate something.
That's true. And then there's always people too that don't necessarily agree with what you do. So then therefore they're going to insert their own feelings. Negativity. So
one time I had, and Gabriel will attest to this, 88,000 subscribers on YouTube. I am just under 11,000 right now. I want to get back to the 100,000. I was close to getting my 100,000 mark, where you get a plaque. You get
a little silver, not little, but like a silver.
It was like, I was like this close, right? It was like coming towards me, and then it got yanked away. And we know why. I'm not going to go back into that one again. That's just, it's old news under bridge. I'm trying to, build a new brand. And we're waiting for a special announcement at the end of this month. I'm not going to say what it is yet because I know how some people who follow me are not the good fans. There are some bad actors who would just try to sabotage it just for the sake of sabotaging. Not because of anything other than that, but just because they want to sabotage.
Are you announcing it on February 30th?
I'm going to announce it once I get a letter from my attorney saying that everything.
It was a joke. February 30th.
Yeah, we'll do it February 30th.
February 30th. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So and Jeanette, she disabled her comments, but she's right. I need to know. I want to know what people are saying. That's why I don't disable comments. I need to, and sometimes to build your audience.
Sometimes they say too much.
No, but to build your audience. Now, what you can do is you can put your comments on restriction so you see them first before you post them. I have some words that are put in mine that you can't get around. So if you type it, it goes away. I did that on purpose because people are really, really, really. There's some evil people out there. There are some really evil people out there.
I'm laughing because it's sad.
Yeah. So the special announcement will be once I get a letter from the powers to be to know what's going on. I'll let you guys know. And
Chris says the special announcement is that ice cream is delicious.
Yes, and you're right. Your feedback is important. But yeah, and but some people can be cruel.
Yeah.
And also early years of show, I got threats, and the N-word. Let me tell you something. The N-word is just the bottom of the slice of cake for me.
Yeah.
I've received so many different comments from so many rude people that, in the very beginning, it literally affected me. And to the point where people are like, well, don't read what they write. But how would you know? Sometimes you get good tips from comments. You may write a post and then somebody goes, oh, by the way, if you go XYZ at a certain time of the day, you'll see this. And you go there and sure enough, it would happen. I got some of my best stories because of tips.
Yeah.
The tip was like the guy the guy who drove around in the city truck.
I helped you with that piece.
You did help me with that piece.
And it's funny too, because we met a guy who thought that because he gets good tips, like how could he be everywhere that all these things are happening? This guy thought that his show was made up, like it was staged.
Oh,
remember?
Yeah. There's so many people. We met a guy the other day. We didn't post it because he was
a worker and he had his uniform on.
And he was worried but he started talking to me and he was like, yeah. And I said, oh, what do you think of that show? People behave badly. Because I used to love that show, but it was made up. You could tell it was fake. You could tell there's no way on earth that much stuff happens when he just walking around. So it was all staged. I'm like, and that's
I'm over here laughing because I'm listening to him say that it was staged, and I'm like, why does this guy think that his stuff is staged?
And that's the world we live in. Everybody thinks everything is fake or staged.
Well, you know why though? I think social media has made people believe that a lot of stuff is fake because people will fall for stuff and then it turns out it's not true.
Yeah.
But your stuff came out before social media, and someone did ask, I think it was Felix, like, when did people when was like the first episode of people behaving badly? And he asked if it was 2014, and it was way before that. It was like 2006, right?
2003.
2003?
Yeah.
I thought it was 2006.
No, that's when it became full blown. 2003. Okay, so Kron was brought in 2000.
Kron became Young Broadcasting in 2003.
Okay. So then it was
right because it used to be NBC,
right,
and then it became Young Broadcasting. Okay. I know it was Young Broadcasting.
So it wasn't 2003 when
I got there.
But when I first started, I had to go for 2 months of training.
You want to know why I believe it's 2006? Because when I started working at Kron, you were already doing people behaving badly.
Yes, but here's the deal. And this is what you didn't know. When I started doing it, it was intermittently.
Okay, so it wasn't like consistent.
No, so I would literally go out and shoot something and then go do a live shot or work with a reporter.
Okay.
So because so here's how
you did that like all the time though.
So here's how people behave badly started. This is the actual reason how it started. Kron was sold. Young Broadcasting brought Kron. They decided to make everybody into VJs. So a VJ is video journalist. So reporters would have to report with how to operate cameras, to edit, and cameramen had to know how to report. So they gave us a 1 month training where their original concept was to have 25 reporters go out in the field, and like 5 would turn stories. The other 20 would be out still. So every week there'd be different 5 that did the stories. So they had time to research the stories and come up with really good content. That's how it was sold.
Yeah.
And that's how it was sold.
I'm laughing because I know that's not how it is.
And so we all sat around and was like, yeah, we got all day to work on the story. This is great. I can't wait. Oh, God. Was that song from Bill Cosby? That is great. He feeds us chocolate cake. You know, we're all thinking, oh, my God, this is great. I might like this. Well, that's how it was sold to us. But once the guy who trained us left, then it became, okay, we're going to do something called day turns. Mm-hmm. You go out, you shoot your story, you come back, and you put it on the air. You don't have time to fact check everything. Just get the story on the air.
And that's crazy to me. You don't have time to fact check everything when that is literally the job of a journalist, is to fact check.
Yes. So the original concept was to stand on the corner, stand and walk up to a story and go, let me look at this story and let me figure out the details of the story before I start putting things together. That's what was sold. But the way it was ministered was get out there, turn a story, and come back. If you need to, we'll get you live on the spot. You may not have any facts, but don't worry about it. Facts don't matter right now. Just put it on the air. And they always tell you this.
Oh my gosh.
We don't really care about the quality of the story. Just get us a story. Until you turn to a story that doesn't have good quality, and then they care.
That motto is so bad.
The other motto is think outside the box. Until you think outside the box, they shove you back in it again.
Oh my God.
So back to the story again. What I was saying was, so then one day I trained for a month. And then I got a letter from management saying that they didn't think that I had what it took to be a VJ. So they're probably going to lay me off. But they're going to give me another 30 days to train. Right?
I didn't know that part of the story.
So they gave me another 30 days to train to become a reporter because I didn't fit in the molds right then and there. And, whatever. So during the second month of training, they wanted me to go out and do something called POV. Go out, point of view photography. Basically, if you know what POV is, I go out, like this is a fire truck, these are police. I did it for CBS News in LA. I did POV reporting, which people didn't even know existed back then, for CBS in LA. So it was something I was familiar with, but I wasn't live. So getting back to where we stand, I went to a guy named Brian Greif, who was the acting news director, and
I thought you put that on
I did,
silent.
but we've been over an hour, so.
It's his phone.
Yeah, it's my phone. Somebody was always trying to call. So anyway, back to the main story is that Mark Antonitis was a GM.
Oh gosh! Oh my gosh! All these names.
So remember that name?
Back memory. Yeah.
So I went to Brian Greif and I said, "Hey, I have an idea. I want to go out and record people." They want me to do it live, and I said, "I don't want to do it live because live is not my forte.
Yeah.
I don't do very good with live. But like when I do stand-up comedy, it's really hard when I get in front of a live audience and try to remember all my jokes."
Oh, he was actually really good when he did
I have
stand-up
a secret.
comedy. Yeah.
So I said, no, I don't want to do it live, but let me just. So my first story was I went up into a hotel and watched people buy liquor and then urinate in public. And
oh my gosh, that sounds horrible.
And it aired. I was up in a building watching them go in and buy the liquor. And for $5, you can get a 40 ounce, a small shot, and something else. And they would go out there and pee and poop in between the cars. I shot the story, and it aired. And of course, remember I was all monotone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When he first started out, his voice was like, "Yeah, and you see these people here."
Yeah. So
it's funny.
So.
And you had a different open too.
Different open.
Your open was like police lights, crime tape, your face.
No,
in the
not
corner.
in the beginning.
There was a new one?
No, not in the beginning.
There
was no opening in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
In the beginning, it was just, but the phone rang off the hook.
Because when I got to Cron, you already had that opening.
So the phone started ringing after it aired. And it's like, what the hell is that? What is that? What is that garbage you're putting on TV?
Like viewers?
Oh, they called them. They were like, what is that?
Wow.
But you know what the funny part was? They called.
Yeah, it got attention.
It got attention.
Yeah.
And they go, wait a minute, do it again. So I was doing it 3 times a week, but only after I did other stuff. So I had to come up with ideas and tell stories with. And Brian Greif said to me, so do you have a name for this thing? Because they didn't have a name. And I said, I don't know. I lack of a better name. Can we call it People Behaving Badly? Because I've done like Right Along with the Cops. I've always had that thing in my head.
You are so freaking brilliant.
And then he goes, well, I don't think we can use that name because I think it may be trademarked. But I tell you what we'll do. We'll you go ahead and do your stories and we'll figure it out. So I started doing these stories. And then the other thing I did, remember the one with the guy on the BART train that masturbating on BART?
That was disgusting. That was disgusting.
So
he kept moving from one chair to like another to another. And then he did it next to a woman.
But I did it very tastefully. But the word about the story made it to the news director and who was on vacation in Hawaii, and all they said was that I showed a guy masturbating. That's all they said.
Oh yeah, that's all they said.
And they went crazy. And Bart was like, because Bart gave me a bunch of videos to look at, and I said, I want this one. Because I knew we were going to grab attention.
Yeah.
And I wrote to it. So
I just can't believe that happened.
So now the original concept of people behaving badly was to be a voice that you never see my face. You just know there's a guy out there doing these stories.
So people didn't know how you looked for a little bit.
I didn't know. That's what my initial concept was.
Yeah.
I want nobody to know what I look like. I wanted to be the invisible man that just did these stories and you recognize the voice. Like, oh, I recognize that voice. Then one day I come in and go, hey, we got to show you something. And there was a video of me standing there because I was out shooting stories before practicing. And one of my shots was a story of gas prices. And I did a stand-up in Millbrae. And the sun was in my eyes. So
you actually did like a stand-up?
Yeah, I was wearing the red vest, the red shirt.
The plaid?
Yeah, the plaid shirt.
I love it.
So I had the sun in my eyes. And you literally, I was like, like.
Oh my gosh, is that the animation? Oh, sorry, guys. I'm sorry if I'm loud. I'm laughing because I know exactly what he's talking about. And FYI, I used to work at Cron, so I remember like some of this stuff, but like not how it was developed.
So they took the picture of me squinting with the sun in my eyes, with the gold chain on.
And he looked mad.
And I looked like I was mad, but it was sun in my eyes.
Yeah.
And they took that and they put crime scene tape across, and they put the music doom doom doom.
Yep.
Doom 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 doom.
Yep.
Here's Stanley Roberts with some people behaving bad.
No, that came later. That came later.
But the original was the music.
The one where you went like this.
And that was, that was different.
Yeah.
So the original concept was thrown out the door when they put my face out there. And ironically, people don't remember faces because I just talked to Vern Glenn the other day. Mm-hmm. He's the director at NBC at CBS.
Yeah.
And they still say, "Hey, are you that people behaving badly guy?"
They still mistaken.
Now, Vern Glenn is like 4'2". I'm like almost 6 feet.
I'm mad at you. He is not 4'2". Vern Glenn is a little shorter than you are, but he is not 4'2".
So
I do love this though. Jeanette says, I modeled my play-by-play on your deadpan narration.
So some of the things that Diane made fun of, like when I used to go, driver after driver ran the stop sign.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, I love that."
Yeah.
And so then people would actually come to me and go, "Hey, can you do my voicemail?
Can you
do my voicemail?"
Yeah.
So I was literally doing people's voicemails for free, by the way. I did it because I love to do it. It's like, thank you for, and they went, or what I didn't know was I had the Mr. People Behaving Badly voice.
Yeah. Well, so Bill asked, Stanley, how did you develop your delivery of your voice over? I think that was a good part of your success of People Behaving Badly. Because you're right. You started off, I remember too, listening to your pieces, and he would just be like, yeah, and you see this guy over here? It was so monotone.
Would you believe that the way I changed and turned the corner for the track was simple as changing how I write the script?
So your writing had an influence on your
writing
inflection?
of the script changed my inflection, because what I would do is I would write each line a double, so 2 lines here, space, 2 lines here. So when I read it in the booth, I would read it as a 2 lines. Mm-hmm. And for some reason that created the inflection that I didn't really. And so I had what is called the People Behave Badly voice.
Yeah.
So people would be like, "Oh, don't use that voice on me." So it's like, "Oh, that's the voice of God." I had so many different people telling me, "Oh, don't use." Oh, and I didn't realize I was using the Behaving Badly voice on people.
Sometimes you use it on me too,
and I don't even realize I do it. It's like it just became a natural. And some people said I had a sing-song voice.
Yeah.
I didn't know what sing-song was.
I see that for sure. Well, but part of me. So okay, when your voice was monotone, were you writing in like full-blown paragraphs or something with your script? Like
I don't remember. I just know that when I wrote it. I would literally. So here's my day. I'll come in the morning, go out and shoot a story.
You okay over there?
It's not going to do much air. And then I'll come back and I'll try to write the story out.
Mm-hmm.
And there are days when I would write a story out, hate it, ball it up, throw it away, and start from scratch. And I would try to write to the video, and I would look for stuff in there that jumps out at me. So when I wrote it, and then I would write it, and then it used to be I had to turn my script in and have someone read it. Mm-hmm. And then they realized that, wait, so you're not going to get a suit, so just you go ahead and do your script, and we'll just figure it out later. So
you didn't even have like script approval.
Yeah, they trust me enough to let me go in there and do the story. So I would go in there and track it, and what I did at first was I tried to crank out as many stories as possible, so they can have stories, so I can take my time to do a story.
Mm-hmm.
But what I found out by doing the stories of giving them, if I gave them 10 stories,
they would run all 10.
They'd run all 10 in a short period of time. So I'm back to 0 again, which means I'm back to day turns. I tried to make it so I didn't have to do a day turn, so I can put a story, it's ready to go. You guys can use this one. I have time to make a new story. So if this one airs on Wednesday, I'll have you a new story by Thursday, but it'll be a different story. You can line them up. But they would just run them over and over again. So they would run 10 stories. I'm exaggerating, but if I had 3 stories,
he would line up, because I remember him telling me that he would line up the stories so that he could spread them out, so he could take his time to go do other stories. And the reason why he would want to take his time to do the stories is because obviously, if you take your time, better quality of story, and he wants to put out a good product, but because they were rushing you and they had this whole idea of day turn, the day turn really impacts the quality because he's doing all the work. All the VJs, they were one-man bands. They did everything. And I remember people being stressed out, not being able to turn their stories, especially if you had a certain slot, which most people did. You ran at 6 o'clock or 6:20 or whatever. And if you missed your slot as in the time you were supposed to run in the show, it was stressful not only on the producer, which would be me, but it would be stressful on the reporter to have to turn it. So it was just a really stressful environment.
Now here's a side effect to all this. And you experienced some of the side effect, is that when we were doing the stories, I didn't know the reach was as great as it was.
No, because you were just doing the stories.
Just doing the stories. And every time I posted on YouTube, those are my time off. I never posted on YouTube and got paid for it.
And the YouTube channel
was my own.
His. It wasn't
it was my personal channel.
With Kron.
And there wasn't, I said, at first I was putting them on YouTube, and my boss came to me and said, "Are you putting the stories on YouTube?" And I was like, "Uh-oh, I'm going to get in trouble for this." And he says, "Good." And I said, oh, okay. Whew. Yeah, I put them on YouTube. He was like, "Good, keep doing it." Then they found out that the series was seriously popular. So then they tried to tell me to take it off of YouTube so only they could get the traffic. And then there was a guy who ran the web who hated the segments, so he wouldn't fix the website.
I remember that guy.
So then a guy named Mario Sevilla came in, my buddy, he's my homie, and he said, "Man, you got some really good stuff here. We're going to fix your page for you." So he fixed the page in 3 hours. It was up and running. I was like, "Oh my God, this is great." But I was still posting videos. I would take the raw, after I edited it, would post it on YouTube, and there would live. And so when it got deleted from YouTube, it was a strange thing because we never had a conversation of it being deleted. Mm-hmm. I left on a Friday. They had it deleted. They had the entire account wiped clean on a Sunday. Sunday morning, I wake up and someone goes, "Hey, where's your page is gone?" I'm like, "No, it's not." And sure enough, it was ghost. It was ghost. And I had promised them that I said, when I get to Arizona, since you took away my laptop, if you want me to, I'll take down the YouTube, the Kron videos. And that's fine. I don't really care. I just want to keep my member. But they knew that would affect me if they took away my entire account. They also tried to take away my Facebook account. So now I cannot monetize Facebook. So therefore, I can't make any real money off of Facebook because they told them they tried to get that deleted too, but it didn't work. But what they did was they put down that I have unoriginal content. So the
unoriginal is as far from it as it goes.
So
it's
despite
wrong.
having 162,000 people on Facebook, I can't monetize Facebook at all. Just can't.
What is a Cameo account? Missing San Francisco wrote, you need to start a Cameo account.
A Cameo is where you go on people's account and remember the thing with what's his face?
With who?
Where he goes, I don't know what Chinook is.
Oh, Smokey Robinson?
Yeah. So that was a Cameo account.
Oh,
so people can hire you to come on and talk to people. And I don't think I reached a level of status where I can really be a Cameo
Dude,
person.
That's a good idea. You should just try it.
Well, I don't look at myself as being that big of a celebrity.
But some people do.
Some people do.
I forgot that he said that. That's funny.
Tanuka. And he liked that tweet.
Yeah, he liked your tweet.
He did. That was pretty good. I'm a big fan of Smokey Robinson. And when he liked my tweet, for the video of he just wrote it.
Yeah, your mom says people can pay money for a birthday, greeting, anniversary, whatever. You might as well try it.
So did you ever thought of first that your show gets bigger? So here's the deal. So number one, people were using the People Behaving Badly name all around the country. In Austin, Texas?
No. Corpus Christi.
Corpus Christi, Texas.
Yeah.
Other cities were doing the same thing. And Kron never got involved in them doing it. And I even called up the corporate people and said, you guys stole the idea. Or we
Kron never fought for you.
They never
that
fought
was
for
the
me
problem.
ever for anything.
That was the
They
problem.
didn't fight for me. Well, they didn't fight for me either.
They didn't fight for you even when you were going to leave. They fought you.
They fought me.
You like the entire time. They didn't fight for you. They fought you.
So the segment was never promoted until someone came in and said, "Hey, why don't we promote this thing?"
Oh, you can do an OnlyFans too.
Yeah. I would show my.
Well, I think is OnlyFans.
Well, it's considered porn because most people who do it are showing
like half naked,
their naked bodies.
Oh, well, I mean,
yeah. But remember though, okay. So I'm glad you said that, your mom, because at one point when I first started trying to go on my own, I said, "Hey, I have this account you can donate to." "Oh, I don't like donating to that account. Can you donate to this account?" So I created another account. "Oh, I don't like donating to that account." So he said, "You should make an OnlyFans." I'm like, "I'm okay. I'm not going to chase fans. I'm not going to chase accounts. I'm not going to keep adding up different things." So it's funny because you think because of the Facebook, I mean the PayPal, the Venmo, and the GoFundMe, they're actually the same account.
Yeah.
It just looks like different platforms.
They're just different platforms. Yeah, but you know what though? That Cameo is not a bad idea.
Yeah. So and even with the videos that were on that people were stealing and posting as their own, I was literally going on myself and putting down takedown notices because they wouldn't do it. They never took down anyone else's videos. But ironically, they took mine down, which is the craziest part of the whole thing was they wouldn't take any of the videos down that was use the content for their own benefit, but they took mine down. And I never monetized the videos on YouTube. I'll say it again. I never monetized them, never thought about monetizing them. I was already making money at the station, so it didn't seem right the thought crossed my mind, but I thought, nah, it's probably not a good idea. So it was crazy that, and it didn't end there because they literally kept calling the station in Arizona to try to get me terminated from there as well, claiming that I was still posting the videos. When in actuality, I had warned people that the videos may be taken down because I kind of, you kind of know. Mm-hmm. And the long story short was that some people saved a lot of the videos. And so they were putting them themselves out of anger, but they were trying to fire me for that. And I can't control
and you
what I
had
can't
no control over other people. Yeah.
Did you make any mistakes or regrets? No, I don't have any regrets. The only mistake I made was my agent told me that before I go off the air, I should say, well, I would have stuck around, except for they stole the trademark. And that was my agent's idea. And hindsight being 2020, maybe I shouldn't have said it, but I mean, it is what it is. I was on the air. No one else can go on live now and talk about them leaving because of me. I changed all that. I love the segments. But the crazy part about the segment was
my reaction was super delayed.
That some people were stuck on stupid. And they would say that anything I did was, no matter what I took a picture of, I was saying that was behaving badly.
Yeah.
No matter what I took a picture of, they behaving badly.
Yeah, they associated
everything I did with behaving badly.
Everything you did was behaving badly.
Yeah, it's like a stereotype. But no matter look at the sun. The sun behaving badly. I'm like, no, it's the sun.
It's like it's almost as you became your work.
Yeah. Like
people associate you with like your work.
And Jeanette, just for the record, if you can trademark your work, that's even better. And copyright's good, but it just protects you from people using your product. But if someone decides to make the same name you have and you don't have a trademark, then you could have a problem later, unless you can prove that you were there before they showed up. Anyway.
Don't forget to give a thumbs up if you're on YouTube, by the way.
Thumbs up. If you can donate, please do. If you want to donate something larger, please go to MrBadley.com. There's a link on there for Zeffy. Zeffy allows you to make a donation where you don't lose. See, when you use Zelle, or not Zelle, when you use Venmo, they even
Facebook?
No, Zelle and
PayPal
and GoFundMe, they take a percentage. So if you gave me $25, I would get $24. Mm-hmm. So, but Zeffy allows you, and again, www.mrbadley.com allows you to make a donation without getting any extra charges involved in it. But I really got to get ready to start cooking these pork chops. We're behind schedule.
Yeah, we're going to have dinner like way late tonight. But we wanted to hop on and be with you guys. So
we wanted to make sure we talk to you guys. And And, sometimes we beat up on the same trio, but I want people to understand, because even with all the information I give people, there's still misinformation out there.
Right.
We meet people all the time. Oh, I thought you moved to Arizona because your son went to school.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I don't have a son. I have 2 daughters, and none of them went to school in Arizona. Oh, I thought you retired. No, I didn't retire. Oh, well, why'd you go to Arizona? I thought you got, and I love the first, you got fired. That's why you got fired from Cron, because you suck.
Oh gosh.
I didn't get fired from Cron. I didn't get fired. I went there.
And the misinformation. But the thing is I think that your story is an important one to tell. And I think that when people hear it, it helps them to get to know you better, especially since you've been doing this for a while. And there are always new people that are watching us. And I love it. We have our regulars. For sure. But there's always like 1 or 2 or maybe even more people that are new that haven't heard your story yet, that appreciate you telling it.
So all you creators out there, here's very important. So one of the things that people say to me is, well, Cron can do what they want with the content because you didn't own it. Let me clarify something for you right now. If you do not have a contract with that company and you're creating content under California law, I'm not saying the rest of the country, under California law, the creator is the owner of the content. I know that because I spoke to the attorney who wrote the law about content. Read your contract. If you don't have your contract says that anything you make belongs to them, then don't make anything that you don't want taken away from you, because once you leave, they get to keep it.
Or anything that you want to use.
But if you are making stuff on your own, please, by all means, get either trademark, copyright. Don't dilly-dally and, like you say, run through the alley and looking for my homeboy Sally from the Valley. Don't dilly-dally.
I don't say that. You say
that. That's from Slick Rick.
Oh, okay.
It's important that you, and if anybody knows Slick Rick, they know the song, that you protect yourself, because it's like the music industry. It's sharks and orcas everywhere try to suck you dry, and they'll take your content. And as I always said, and I'll say it again, people have made more money off my work than I've ever made. People have made more money off my work. People actually called me up. This is no joke, and this is my final comment, and asked me to write an article for them so they can publish it. They want me to write an article for them. They get the money for it.
No thanks.
They literally want me to write for them so they can publish it and get paid for it. I'm like, do I look like Larry Lunchmeat? I'm not going to write you a story. You want me to write you a story? Then pay me. I used to feel bad about telling people to pay me. I don't feel bad anymore, because you know what? Everybody's getting paid.
And you work hard.
I do. I mean, if you give me a project, I will spend my every working hour on that project until it's done. Right now, I go out and I volunteer to do these ride-alongs so I can educate the public. But we hopefully will get enough donations to cover the cost, because we still got to pay rent, we still got to pay electricity, we still got to pay insurance, even in some cases, all that other stuff. So there we go. Anyway, we want to thank you for joining us. I'm Millennial.
I'm a Boomer.
And if you haven't been here before, this is Millennial Boom. We've been doing this for, according to Gabriel, 3 years.
4 years.
No, Gabriel said 3.
On Twitch, 3, I think.
Yeah. On Twitch, 3 years, but we've been doing it for longer than that before we got hooked up to Twitch. And what was I going to say? Oh my goodness. What's all that? Oh, sorry, that was new.
Wait, Felix says, please start a hair salon. I will go. Gabriel will go as well. Diane Faith hair salon. Wait, why do I need to start a hair salon? I'm so confused.
4 years, 3 years on Twitch. Yes. We got our first paycheck from Twitch.
Oh gosh.
We got it after almost 3 years on Twitch. We found, so there's not a lot of money on this streaming thing, just unless someone decided to subscribe to us and pay us to be on this thing. So we made, in the 3 years with 200 plus subscribers, we made a total of $57.00.
Oh, that's lovely.
After 3 years of doing this every Sunday. We're not like the Beast where he's making millions. He had one tweet that made $250,000.
Tweet?
Yeah, he had a tweet.
Oh gosh.
X that made.
You get paid on tweets?
You can. Whatever he did, he got $250,000.
You guys, I just don't do social media like
$250,000.
I just don't do social media.
I would do it if I made that kind of money on a tweet. I'd be tweeting my ass off. Anyway.
Well, you already do though.
No, but I mean, if I'm getting $250,000 for a tweet.
Oh yeah, I feel you. I'd be tweeting my ass off too, and
That's
I don't
right.
even use Twitter.
I mean,
Twitter.
Twitter.
I mean Twitter or X.
I'd put the phone down by the bed and have my butt tweet at night while I'm asleep.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, yes, Felix, all the links are on his website.
Yes,
right?
and also go to Linktree at Mr. Badley TV. You can find stuff there as well.
Yes.
But if you go to Mr. That's a speaker, tweeter.
Tweeter.
Yeah. You ever had tweeters in your car?
No.
Do you have tweeters in your car now?
Speakers?
Yeah.
Is that a specific brand?
Do you have tweeters in your car? Yes or no?
Is it a brand?
Answer the question. Do you have tweeters in your car?
Well, I need to know what a tweeter is to know if I should answer if I have it in my car or
okay,
not.
just take a guess.
You said if it's a speaker, then yes.
You sure?
I don't know.
The little tiny speakers that make the sound. Those are tweeters.
No, I don't have those.
They make the high pitch.
No, I don't
like
have
the
those.
You do.
I do?
Yes, they're on the door. The little tiny speakers on the door.
Oh, okay. Well, then why didn't you just tell me I have them?
Because I wanted to.
You're making it all complicated.
We appreciate you too, and thank you for joining. We'll be back again.
We appreciate
hopefully,
you for sure.
if we'll be back again, and remember us when next 3 years when we get another $57.
We'll still be here because we enjoy talking to you guys.
We really do. We gotta go. I gotta go fry some pork chops up.
And I gotta go eat some pork chops.
All right, love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.
I guess I said it already. I'll say it again. Millennial, she's a boomer.
I'm a boomer.
And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
I know we're still on. I'm just laughing.
I want to wait for everybody to say bye first.
Bye.
X is going to give it to you. Okay, here we go.
Thank you for listening to Millennial Boom with Diane Faith and Stanley Roberts. Millennial Boom and Reasons Why Aliens Will Never Invade Earth and Caught Misbehaving videos are made possible through viewer donations. Check out www.linktree.com/Mr. Badley TV to see how you can help. See you next week.